Stampen friends, happy today. I have been such a busy bee making swap cards. Swap cards with my team, swap cards with my uplines team, swap cards with our incentive trip achiever leaders group. I have just been a busy swapping bee. And so anytime I make a swap card, I kind of love to go all out, but I love to also share the how-tos with my swap card so that way they can recreate them, but also so you can kind of participate in a virtual swap and also have all the know-how on how to make it. So this fun swap is a fun fold swap, and I'll be walking you through all the steps on how to create this and all the fun products that I used. They're new and you won't want to miss them, that's for sure. And so let's get started and I'll show you how to make this fun swap card that I created. All right, well, we will be using for this card the Heirloom Boutique Stamp and Die set. It's kind of a sleeper set, I would call it, in the catalog because it's just a teeny tiny picture in the catalog, and I think sometimes those hidden gem stamp sets get lost in there, and so I always love to highlight those for you because especially this one, I was just wowed by all the dies and the beautiful artwork in these stamps. And then I did pair it with another die set, which is the Scalloped Blooms dies. Now they are scalloped circles. Some of them are stitched and some of them have kind of a plain edge. Plus there's these different scalloped shapes that I think are just beautiful. So I also paired it with that. We'll be using a fun embossing folder. And let me kind of show you up close this card. So I used a couple different designer series papers in there, but it is a fun fold that opens up and you have this kind of flap, and so I'm going to show you how to do that with your dies to make that fun fold. So before I forget, here is my blog, my website, stampinqueenbee.com. You'll want to go on there if you're new and sign up for my free weekly Buzz Bulletin. And so every single week I send out a free printable PDF tutorial as a thank you for watching, for supporting me, for joining my classes, for shopping on my site, just for supporting me and my business. I like to provide that free PDF tutorial for you. And so you can sign up for my free weekly Buzz Bulletin newsletter where I email that out each week, including today's project. I will have the PDF for you, the step-by-step tutorial, the measurements, and all of that, so you don't even need to write anything down today. So let's get started, and I'm going to move all of this to the side. I do have a lot of stuff today pre-cut for us, so it's just ready to go, and you don't have to see me do all that. So the first thing is our card base. So the measurements for this, like I said, will be on that printable PDF. You can just print it out and go. And it's got all those measurements and everything on there. So this is just thick basic white that I have cut already and scored for us. So we'll just set that aside. Then I have a piece of our new pearlized shimmer paper. And we have our new in colors. And so they are, here's the embellishments I'll be using, the in color dots, but we have the Peaceful Pine, the Hydrangea Hue, then we have the new Crisp Cantaloupe, the new Golden Glow, and of course our Barely Blush. And so I have taken a piece of this pearlized paper. Do you see how beautiful and shimmery that is? And I have actually embossed it. You can see that beautiful embossing on that layer. And that is using the Lazy Daisy 3D embossing folder. So I just took that Golden Glow pearlized paper and I ran it through the embossing folder here, and we got that beautiful impression on there. So that's piece number one. Then I have a piece of this Bloom Boutique Designer Series paper. Isn't it just so pretty? You can see all of these beautiful designs. There's gold foiling in here. It's just gorgeous. And so I used that to die cut from one of the scalloped circles, the third from the biggest. And so I have that piece for us as well, already die cut. Then I have a piece of, so we'll just put our pieces up here that we're going to be using, a piece of two-tone cardstock in Peaceful Pine. We're going to be using the light side here. And I've got a piece of grid paper that I'm going to put in there, and we're going to do some stamping. So I've got Peaceful Pine here, the new Peaceful Pine ink pad. Love how these open. So easy peasy. And we've got this stamp. So this comes from that Heirloom boutique. It's this bigger kind of flower bouquet that we'll be using. And so I'm just going to ink up my stamp here with these new stamp pads. You can actually push it down pretty good and get that ink on there really nicely. And so then I'm just going to stamp that down on my two-tone paper here. And we're just going to re-ink, turn our paper, and stamp this a few more times. So we've got another one there. Turn our paper again. And let's stamp one right there. Got the grid paper there just to kind of pick that up. The glass mat works great for that too. It's just you have to clean it in between, right? So this helps me. I don't have to clean it on the video here. Okay, and then one more maybe up in the corner. And then I just kind of look at it and see if I need to fill in like maybe a little leaf here in that corner and maybe just a little bit down here in this corner. I think that looks good. So that will be our other stamped piece. So you're kind of creating our own little designer series paper with that, right? Then we'll use Peaceful Pine again. And I did a couple of these other stamping steps just so you didn't have to watch me stamp them, right? But I used the Peaceful Pine ink with the stamp in the Heirloom boutique, Lots of Love, and I stamped that on just thick basic white, and then I hand cut that out. So voila, that was done for magic, right? If only all stamping was that fast. So we've got our Lots of Love there. And then I also used the dies in the Heirloom boutique with some of our two-tone cardstock in those in colors. So I've got a Crisp Cantaloupe two-tone cardstock that I've die cut. I've got a Hydrangea Hue with this die that I die cut. And then I have, let's see, I have a leaf here, this leaf here that I actually die cut out of our vellum. So we've got that, those three. And then one more I've got from Golden Glow. So we're really using all of those brand new in colors. They're just so beautiful. So the in color two-tone cardstock in the Golden Glow that I die cut out of this one here. So we've got all three of those flowers and our leaf die cut as well. And then one more thing that I did stamp and die cut ahead for us was a flower. So this flower here, I stamped it in our Barely Blush on Barely Blush cardstock and die cut that out. So magic of the video, a few of those stampings got done easy because I wanted really to show you how to put this together. I think that's really the magic. So the magic of this fun fold part here is that I took our scalloped die. So let's pull that out. And it's the second from the largest is the one that I used. And so I took another card base that I had just, scored in half and folded, just a regular size card base. And then I took my die here and I lined this up so just 3 of those scallops were over that fold. So here's the fold, right? Because we want to keep that fold intact. And so I just lined it up so I have 1, 2, 3 scallops that are in the air, we'll call it. And then I took one of my favorite tabs. They're just little sticky tabs from Daiso. Dollar Tree has them, Staples, Walmart, wherever has them, but they're just sticky tabs and they hold my die in place. And so then I ran this through my die cut machine just like this, folded in half. And what came out was this beautiful folded die cut. So we've got our fold that we had intact here when we ran it through, and then it double die cuts, right? Because they're folded in half. So it die cuts both of those. And now you have this opening layer because of that side that we basically didn't die cut right there, right? That fold line, we didn't die cut when we left those 3 open. So that's really like the magic of this card and the fun tip of how to die cut it. And then the rest of this is putting it together, and that's easy peasy. And so let's do that together. So I'm just gonna grab my liquid glue here, and we're just gonna start piecing our card together. So we've got our piece that we stamped on. This is gonna go on the front of our card base here. Ooh, I just got glue all over. Do you ever do that? Well, then I just kind of wipe it off. If you have any extra, you can use a glue eraser once it's dry and get that off. I got a little glue happy there, right? Okay, so we've got that attached, and we'll open this up, and that embossed layer we're gonna stick and adhere right on the inside of our card. So let's go ahead and do that. And there we go. We've got that attached. We'll just hold that there a second and make sure it's good and adhered. Now we'll take our fun folded piece that we created, and we're just gonna glue it on this side here. We want the fold on that right side so that it opens up and it kind of creates this tri-fold. So we're just gonna add our liquid glue just to this one side here. Get in all those scalloped grooves and in the middle, of course. There we go. And we're gonna take this and we're just gonna line it up in the middle here, right on the same line of our embossed layer. And so we'll just hold that down a second, especially when it's embossed like that, right? So then we'll close this side up, and now we have kind of our tri-fold opening. Isn't that fun? Now we just get to decorate it. So we'll take our designer series paper here. Let's add this right on. We'll just center this in those same scallops, and just make sure that you don't go over the edge of that fold, right? If you do, you can just trim any extra of that off, but you want it to be able to open and close. So cute. All right, let's grab our dimensionals here, and our sentiment we will pop up first on here. So let's just grab some dimensionals and put those right on there. And if they are too big, you can just take, what I like to do is just take and kind of center, cut right through those, and now you have 2 smaller ones, right? You could use your mini dimensionals as well, but these are just as easy, right, to cut into. So we'll just go ahead and layer that up. Beautiful, right on there. And now we get to put our die cut flower pieces. So this is the vellum one. We're gonna cover this up so we can just put our liquid glue right on the bottom there. And this is just going to be adhered right there. Now these 3 flowers, we're gonna take our bone folder and we're gonna turn our flowers upside down, and we're just going to give them a bit of a curl to the petals. We're gonna do that to all 3 of these. It's not gonna, add a lot of thickness, but it's going to just add a little bit of depth to these flowers so they kind of pop a little more than a flat flower would, right? So we'll just go ahead and give these a bit of a curl. So you see they're just a tad bit there. And then we'll take our liquid glue, and just in the center there, we're gonna go ahead and put our golden glow flower right on. And we'll slip in our hydrangea hue flower. Just kind of tuck it in there. And I like to hold them since they're curled up a bit. I like to just hold it there a second. And then our Crisp Cantaloupe, one of my favorite new in colors. And we'll just kind of tuck this one right in as well. And you just want to be mindful of this side so it doesn't hang over any of those edges. Hold that there a second. We'll open this up, and that one that we stamped and die cut, we're just going to add this right to the inside of our card there. Hold that there a second, just kind of overlapping it so that it kind of peeks through when this might be closed or that might be closed. It's all kind of peeking through. Okay, so now that that's all adhered, we're going to do the finishing touches on it. And so a couple of those finishing touches, let's bring back in our grid paper here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our Wink of Stella spritzer. So let me just shake this up. This is one of our spritzers, our Stampin' Spritzers. And all I did was take a full Wink of Stella, opened it up and dumped it all inside of here. And then added about halfway to the tube some 70% rubbing alcohol and mixed it up. Okay, there is a video on my YouTube channel. You can find it. It's just called Wink of Stella Spritzer if you need a crash course on how to do that. But I love Wink of Stella Spritzer because it just makes the whole card sparkly. So once I have this mixed, I just shake it up. I don't want to shake too much on camera, make you dizzy. But then we can spritz, spritz, spritz. So I'm just going to spritz the whole front of the card. Because the rubbing alcohol is in there, the 70% doesn't clog my spritzer. That's why I use the 70% versus the 90%. But it makes the whole card super sparkly. And so usually I kind of do it once, do it twice, and then you have this super shimmery, super sparkly card. Let's see if the camera can pick it up. If not, in person, the whole thing just sparkles and shines and is beautiful. So that's finishing touch number 1. And finishing touch number 2 is going to be with our new in color dot gems. And so we're just going to take and put a opposite color in each of the centers of our flowers. So we've got the Crisp Cantaloupe, the hydrangea hue. In this one, we did a golden glow. And then on the one on the inside of our card, we did a peaceful pine. So we really have all of those colors showing on our card. So there you have it, our beautiful swapped fun fold, and you can see where I changed the designer series paper. You can use any of those beautiful prints in that Bloom Boutique beautiful, beautiful designer series paper. So I hope you enjoyed today's card. Let me come back on here and just thank you so much for watching today, and always for liking, for subscribing, for joining my crafty classes, and for shopping in my online store. I absolutely appreciate each and every one of you who support me and shop with me and all the things. Leave comments. I read and reply to each and every one, and I just can't thank you all enough. So I hope you enjoyed these swap cards. You can virtually swap with me, and go ahead and print your tutorial with the measurements and the instructions, and I can't wait to see the designs that you create with this inspiration. So have a great week, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.